know why haters be telling me to mind my business when they're out here not minding theirs. Shut your mouth and enjoy the tea. We all know you're here for it, sis.
With Loga, fishing over. You a queen, wanna less than I'm a gozy. Owamie, Owamie. Owamie, Owamie. Owamie, Owamie.
Hi ninjas, how are you guys doing? It's a girl, I'm Mufhodzi, aka Miss Fear for Code, putting back for entertainment. If it's your first time joining me, you're most definitely welcome. Please do make sure that you subscribe and obviously hit the bell. I absolutely love it. And do not forget to follow me on Instagram. It said boldly Owamie, okay? Now my ninjas, today I'm going to do a raising Ryan, Mufhodzi Ryan video. This video is inspired, you guys. I do have to read her name, girl. I'm sorry, your name. Nozi Kamgana, I don't know. Kamgana Mayaba. Nozi Kamgana Mayaba. Yeah. I'm sorry, like, guys, I can't pronounce that well, but she has a YouTube channel as well. It recently hit 100,000 subscribers, so congratulations, girl. And so under that video, most of you guys, or some of you guys really saw that I did comment, and a lot of you were like, oh, I'm here, girl, I'm everywhere. I'm like a Terminator out here. But yeah, so this video is inspired by a video that I saw of her talking about raising her nephew, her niece. And so, you know, there was a lot of stuff there that she was saying that I just felt I related with. And I have also received questions where people just don't understand, like, okay, since I spoke about the divorce, did we have a child? Who is Ray? Because I call him my baby, sometimes I call him my nephew. So some of you, especially new ninjas, obviously understandably so, just didn't know or understand. And I thought that I'm gonna go and just have this video and just put it all out there and just tell you guys like the backstory, what happened and stuff like that. So for some of you that do not know, I'm currently on a girl's vacation. I am just like girl's trip anyway. And so now I'm obviously pre-recording videos for you guys to watch. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just start. Let's just go ahead and start. So you guys, so basically guys, Mufhodzi Ryan was born on the 10th of July 2014. He's going to be turning 7 years this year, and I still cannot believe that my baby is that old. Now Ray is actually my baby sister's biological son. So my mother had three daughters, the firstborn being me, the secondborn being Divo, who is Ray's mom, and then the thirdborn being Mushumo, who is the naughty one, okay? So so when my mother passed on the 23rd of August 2013, and on the 23rd of October 2013, my baby sister fell pregnant. So we actually even knew the exact day that she actually, like, you know. But after that, you guys, obviously finding out that my baby sister was pregnant was devastating. I don't even want to lie. You know, it was not news that I easily accepted, and I feel like everyone around us, it was not news that was easily accepted. Number one, she was still young. We're all still dealing with the loss of our mom, and so, you know, also having to deal with the loss of our grandmother, who is my mother's mother, who passed away on the 2nd of January 2014, and that was like my mother and my grandmother's birthday. So they shared a birthday, and then my grandmother passed on that birthday. You know, she basically just started, you know, spitting blood and stuff. They said that some of her veins had busted in her heart, and so I always take it as my mom passed and my grandmother passed because of heartbreak. It's not an easy thing for me to talk about, but anyway, we're gonna be talking about Ray here. So finding out that my sister was pregnant, you guys, was something that was very difficult for me. It was difficult, and for me to confirm that she was pregnant, it was actually the same week that my grandmother had passed. So we went home, I bought a pregnancy test, and girl, it was positive just like that. So you know, when that happened, I looked at her and I was just in shock. At this moment, I'm still dealing with, I lost my mom. We have not even buried our grandmother, and this little person is pregnant. I know the kind of family that I come from. I know the kind of father I have. I knew it was going to be a problem, and it was a huge problem. So, you know, things happened, you guys, obviously, and I was now having to, be responsible, honestly, for my sister and obviously for the baby. The father, not in the picture, not even going to talk about him. And so, for me, I'd say that the biggest thing that actually gave me strength, I should say, was that the day that I found out that my baby sister was pregnant, that night when I went to bed, I had a dream of my mom. Now, mind you, at that time, my mom, it had been about maybe 4 months since she had passed. And constantly, each time I'd have a dream of her, it would be a dream of her maybe sick, almost dying, and me just doing everything I can to save her life. And I think that you get that once you've lost a loved one and your life is shaken, right? And so that was the first time that my mother came to my dreams, and she was smiling and she was happy. And so in my dreams, you guys, my mom came and she was so happy. I remember asking my mom, like, why are you so happy, mom? Is it because like grandma joined you? Because my grandmother had just passed, you guys. And so, I was like, is it because you're with grandma that side? Is it because you're happy? Obviously that she's with you. And in my dream, I was actually holding my baby sister's hand, who is Ray's mom. And so my mother comes to me, happy as if she was dancing. She was joyful. And then she had a red baby onesie. And so she gave the baby onesie to me. And so I said, Mom, I'm not the one that's pregnant. She is. But my mom said, no, I want you to have it. She insisted that the baby onesie came to me. And so she then, like, how dreams are, she then like walked me through the aisle where there were blankets, and she was like, let's select and let's buy, like, baby blankets and stuff like that. And so when I woke up, honestly, what I interpreted from that dream was that, number one, my mom wants me to have this baby because she gave the baby onesie to me, even though I was holding my baby sister's hand, and I kept on telling her she's the one that's pregnant, it's not me, but she insisted that I take the baby onesie. The second thing, I was like, because the baby onesie was red, it means that the baby's gonna be a boy. And then the third thing, I was like, since she then took us to the aisle where we had to shop for blankets, it means this child is going to come when it's very cold. And guys, I don't even want to lie, the whole entire dream came to pass. It was like that. Ray is obviously a boy, and he was born on the 10th of July, as I said, and obviously it was very, very cold. And so for me, I feel like that was the first encounter that I had in terms of accepting that my baby sister was pregnant, and also just accepting the responsibility that I knew was going to come with it. Now, there is one other option, and I'm going to just be open with you guys and obviously tell you guys that, I'm one of the most least judgmental people on this planet, but people don't see that or would not get it. But anyway, that's fine. I know that, whenever you are an older sister and, your younger sister comes to you and they're like, I'm pregnant, there are times where you are going to sit and consider, like, okay, maybe abortion can be an option. Hey, like, what do we do? I feel like your faith gets really tested, especially just looking at the hardships that, this person is going to have to face. And obviously knowing that them having a child young, it just, children are always a blessings, but at the same time, we cannot all just close our eyes and not see that, having a child when you're not prepared financially, mentally, and emotionally, how strenuous that can be to, to a young mom. So obviously, even with us, you guys, like I said, at first I was like, oh my gosh, but I would remember, it's almost as if my mom had prepared me, honestly, because my mom would always say that to me, my child, I know you're in Medunsa. If you fall pregnant, I mean, it's simple. You can just go and get an abortion and stuff. But then she would tell me to say that never ever do that. My mom never went for the approach of like, oh, I'll never raise that child. I'll never do this. Like, she would say that we would raise the child. I would raise the child. I would do everything for the baby. But just know that it would have disappointed me highly, because she would be like, you may abort and that's the only one, So honestly, those words from my mom kept on ringing. I was like, oh my gosh, like obviously that's an option that I cannot take. And the fact that she now came to my dreams, I was like, okay, it's fine. We are definitely having this child. And so, yeah, I stayed with my baby sister from when she was 2 months pregnant. That was when we found out anyway, until she gave birth. and I stayed with them 6 months. After that, that was when they actually had to go to Venda. So Ray is not my biological son, but he is my son. I'm a mom too, but I'm definitely a mother at heart. And I love him so much. I love him with all of my heart. Like, I love that little boy so much. There are a lot of stuff, you guys, that I'd say actually happened, and that actually pulled me so close to this baby. And I'll tell you guys, like, I'm the one that named him, so it's me and Big Guy that named him. And one thing I can also just go ahead and say is that I've seen a lot of people say that, well, if you guys had kids, it would have been different. We do have a child, and that child is Ray. We raised him together. We were doing everything for him together. Like, if Ray would literally call, he would always be like, where's Tatumkulu, you know, those kind of stuff. And so even when I had to leave, I also had to think about him. I've not even sat down, you guys, and have that conversation with him, because it's that much of a difficulty. So sometimes when people are like, oh, you know, you didn't have a child and stuff like that, I keep quiet just because I feel like that people who just feel like for you to be a mother or for you to be parents, you have to like physically birth a child. No, that's not it. You can be a mother at heart, and if you mother a child, you're a mother, not necessarily giving birth. Do you understand? If you father a child, you're a father. Not necessarily that, you know, this child has to have come from your loins. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. And so, you know, I remember when my baby sister was still pregnant, I had a dream, you guys. Oh my gosh. I don't want to lie. My dreams sometimes can be a bit creepy, but okay. I had a dream, and this time it was my grandmother coming. And, you know, she was walking with me, and she had Ray on her back. Now, this is the strange part, you guys, or the scary part that I know some of you will not believe. I knew what Ray looked like before he was born. I saw him in my dreams. And I saw him in the dream where my grandmother was carrying him. My grandmother was carrying Ray on her back. And it was a boy. It was a he. And mind you guys, the time that my baby sister was still pregnant, we were still too poor to have money to have her go to the scan and stuff. But by the time we wanted her to go get the scan, we had saved money. I think she was about 8 months pregnant. And then where we went, they refused. They were like, oh, she's too far along. We don't do that. I don't know if they still do that, or maybe the technology has now been to the level where they can, you know, they were like, we don't check for the gender of the baby when the baby is this big and stuff. So we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl until he was born. But I knew, I was like, that's a boy, you know. And so in my dream, my grandmother had Ray on her back, and my grandmother asked me, she was like, what's the name of this child? And I said, no, his name is Mufhodzi. And so my grandmother asked, what does Mufhodzi mean? So for some of you that do not know, Mufhodzi's full names in Venda is Mufhodzi wazimbilu zashu murena mzimu washu borineya, which means that the healer of our hearts God gave us. Because it came the time that we were grieving our mother. When we found out that my sister was pregnant, we were grieving our mother, and we were also grieving our grandmother. And so my grandmother in her dream, in my dream, she was like, yes, that's his name. That's what she said. She was like, yes, that is his name. And she kept on saying that it's a beautiful name. That is his name. And I had never ever heard someone by the name of Mufhodzi in Venda. So it's not a name that I just gotten. And how I even got to Mufhodzi, you guys, this is a story that is going to shock some of you. So when my mother passed away, that was in August, as I said, I did not go on my periods August, September, October. That's when I went on my periods. So August, September, I didn't go on my periods. Now at that time, I thought I'm pregnant. So I even told, you know, Mugai, guy, I think I'm pregnant. I missed my periods. And he was like, you know what, it's fine. We're going to have the baby and stuff. And I mean, at that moment, I was scared, but I was happy that it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a baby. Now, October, that was when I decided to say that I'm going to go to the, to the clinic and actually just get the test. And so I went to the clinic, I got the test, and the test came back negative. So when it came back negative, I was very confused. Then why have I been missing my periods? And then, you guys, like when I went to my car, legit, I sat, blood started coming out. And I remember I started crying because at that moment, I was so happy that, oh my gosh, I will be having a baby. And so I already gave that child a name. Mind you, it's a child that was not there. And that name was Mufhodzi, because I was like, this is going to be the healer. This child is going to heal us. And so when my mom gave me the red baby ones, I was like, it means that this name that was supposed to be for my baby, I have to give it to Ray, because that's my baby. That's the baby that my mom gave me. You understand? And so I gave him that name, you guys. And Ryan, obviously, as I said, he got it from Big Guy. I'll never ever take it away from him. He was a great father to Ray. And, you know, I'll proudly call him Ray for the rest of his life. Like, it's my Ray. I even call him Ray more than Mufhodzi. But when we talk, obviously, it's Mufhodzi. But if I'm talking about him, it's usually like Ray because it's a lot, simpler. It's easier to pronounce. And so raising him, you guys, was not an easy thing. Things are easier now because finances are no longer a barrier, but having a child and you want what's best for him and you don't have the funds, it's one of the most difficult positions to be in life. I just cannot imagine, you guys, because I know that, you know, the parents probably now with the pandemic that have lost everything. I feel like every good parent, all you want for your child is the best. You want what is best for your child constantly. You want to be at a position where you can afford your child. And when we were really struggling, you guys, I was not even sending any money home. I was not even going home. I remember there was a year where I did not see him. I would call, but I didn't see him because there were some problems, money related, and I couldn't even go home, you guys. So I didn't see him, you know. It literally broke my heart and I felt so useless.
Mwana unabende we mwana leno.
Ray does not want to talk to you guys. Can you do that?
They're done.
Pudzia asabia smile. Asabia smile.
Kid.
Okay. Do you know okay, Mona.
I ran and bumble your friend.
No, did you want to the whole time? I try. I hope I'm not sitting room.
Power. The powerful pain.
Sorry, guys. I had to gather myself a little bit, but yeah, those parts, you guys, like they break my heart, and that is just because I remember that time, you know, it would depress me even more because, as I said, every good parent just wants what's best for their child. You know, I couldn't afford to even send money. I couldn't even afford to go see him. I felt so horrible, you guys. But thank goodness that, you know, things have gotten better. As I said, he's turning 7 this year. And so he's going to a private school. You guys know that he's going to a private school. But what you guys don't know is that there was this other school that I really wanted him to go into. But they have got like this waiting list for days, child. So he only got in this year and he got in a little bit late, but that's fine. That school is actually a really, really good school, you guys. Like it's really good. It's like top notch, and the money is also top notch there. But for me, I just feel like only the best for him. If I can afford it, then I'm going to make sure that I do it. And I also now have to tiptoe around. I don't want to spoil him, but at the same time, I don't want him to lack. And so, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's parenthood, you guys. I know some people think that, oh, girl, you just... No, I am a full-blown parent as I am right now. So, you know, God has been really great, you guys. And how did I get to love my nephew? so much like he's my own biological child. For me, I feel it was a lot easier because I made the conscious decision that he's mine. That's what I did. So I never ever expect anything from my baby sister. She recently got a job, so congratulations, mdanama, mwanamiyanga, congratulations. And so she's working, but I still pay for the full tuition. I still pay for the uniform. I still pay for the books. I still pay for everything. And that's because of I made that conscious decision to say that this is my child and this is what I'm going to do for him as long as I can afford. And will I go the extra mile? Of course, yes, I will. If I have to eat pap and eggs and he's going to a really good school and he's getting quality education, then that's something that's going to happen. And of course, I had to have the conversation with my baby sister that she cannot fall pregnant again. I'm going to help her with this one, but if she falls pregnant, girl, you is on your own. And she knows that. And so I think that is also just very important. I was very mad at my baby sister. And I remember that there was a time where I would constantly yell at her because I was angered. And it was actually Bigger that set both of us down because he asked me, why do you have so much anger towards her? And I explained to him, like, how can she fall pregnant? She knows her mom just died. She knows, the kind of family. She knows how her dad is, and now, like, the fights were all over and stuff. And I remember he actually said, sit down and I want you to tell her what you're saying. And so I just had this outburst and I yelled, I screamed, I cried. And after that, the healing basically started because when she fell pregnant, she deeply hurt me. But I had to get to a point of accepting and I had to get to a point of understanding that this is happening. There's an innocent child that is coming. And I vowed to myself that whatever feelings and whatever disappointment and whatever anger I might have had towards his mother, I'm not going to transfer it to him because he's an innocent child. And I had to make sure that, as the months were going, I had to work on that. And thank God that I did because I don't resent Ray, not even one bit. If anything, I am so happy and so blessed that he came into this world because I do not want to lie, you guys. Like, he pushes me so much. I work so hard because I know I've got a mouth to feed and that child constantly is asking for money, people. You are not going to have a conversation with Ray and it's not going to be like, can I please have money for pizza or whatever? Like, no. So I want to be at a position where if he asks and I'm not giving him, it's because I've already given him, but not at a point where I'm not giving him because I don't have the money. I feel like that would break my heart. And if you are an older sister out there, especially when you guys do not have parents, or you don't have a mother, which I feel like is one of the most difficult things that you have to do, and maybe your younger one gets pregnant and all those stuff. Honestly, I'm not saying that everyone is going to do like how I did with Ray or how I do with Ray. We have different situations, we're in different scenarios. Whatever best you can do, that's the best that you can do. But for me, I just feel like it's very much important to understand because also just I have 3 children, you guys. Whether I like it or not, I've got 2 sisters and Ray. So I have 3. December, if I tell you how much I spent on these people, you all are not even going to believe. And so I feel like accepting makes it a little bit easier. Because if you're still at a point where you don't really want to accept and face reality to say that, what, my mom is dead. My mom is late. She has passed away. They do not have a mother right now. And the situation that you're in, then you need to also tell yourself to say that there are certain responsibilities that maybe my mother or my father used to take that I now am going to have to take. And now I'm going to have to do this and do that. Is it fair? Absolutely not. But it's life and we're in different situations and we cope and we live and we move on and we hustle and we make sure that, we strive for a better life. And so, yeah, when I saw Nozi's video, you guys, like, it just, like, it hit very close to home. And she was also talking about how, people were asking when is she having a baby. For the longest time, people thought Bigger and I just couldn't have kids. Guys, we already had 3 children and we were barely affording those. You understand what I'm saying? And so having a child, honestly, at that time, it was gonna just be like another huge, like, financially we couldn't take it. it was just unfortunate that the time that we started trying for the baby, our marriage broke. But at that time, we both know for a fact that we could not afford. And so that was the reason why we decided to not have babies for such a long time. And also, that question of when are you having a child, asking a married woman, is a very dumb question. Don't ask that question. Don't be stupid. So yeah, guys, so I feel like now I've basically given like the backstory. I love Ray so much. I'm a mom too, and yeah, you know, that's basically what it is. And I've seen some people, you know, like ask like, oh, you know, yeah, you really love him, or you know, this and that. There were people that thought he was my biological child for the longest time, like my old classmates and stuff. And I was happy, you know, I was happy with that, because I was like, it's good, because it means I'm loving him the right way, to a point where someone would even think this is a child that came from my womb. And I think that the other thing that Ray did was that he actually got me even closer to my aunt, who's my mom's older sister. And for me, it was because of I saw the level of love that I have for Ray and the things I do for him. And I would see the things she does for me, and I was like, oh my God, she loves me the same way I love Ray. So like, she's a mom, comfortably so. And so, you know, he changed my whole world. He changed my whole world. I never really would say that I've ever loved someone unconditionally. My love has always had conditions. You know, you cheat, I leave. You know, you treat me bad, I'm is gone. You know, this and this. It has always had conditions. And for my baby sisters, of course, I love them unconditionally as well. But if they piss me off, like, I'm pissed. But when it comes to Ray, it's just a level of love that, you guys, it's different. It's so deep. You don't easily get upset. Like, even if he does what, like, they know that they use Ray if they want something at all. They want the DS, it's Ray that will call, Auntie, can you please pay? I want to watch cartoons. And my heart will just melt. So it's a different type of love. And, you know, there's a lot of history in my family. And I'm sure that Ray one day will hear of the stuff that have happened. And I will explain everything when he grows up. But I know that this video, he will watch it, obviously, even when he's grown. My message to you, my baby, would be, you are so loved. You are just, you made this world a better place for us. You became the glue, and you just became that source of comfort, and you became that source of healer. And I'm so blessed that, you know, my grandmom actually okayed that name, because when he was born, my aunt actually wanted to give him another name, which is Murweli, which means the fighter. But I remembered my grandmother's dream when she kept on saying, that's his name, that's his name. And I was like, no, that's his name. And that's exactly how my baby is, you guys. Like, he's a healer. Like, he doesn't like fights. He always wants us to be like calm. He always wants us to be like at peace. He loves laughing. He loves playing. He is just, he's everything and more. And so we love you so much, baby. And so no matter how old you get, whether I'm here or not, whatever you hear, just know one thing about me, your aunties, and everyone, we love you wholeheartedly. So yes, ninjas, oh my gosh, this got emotional for me. But yeah, and so I would like to just say that if you are that older sister that is still going through the angry stage where you're finding out your younger one is pregnant and stuff, my advice would be that, you know, work on those feelings, and please don't transfer them to the innocent child that's going to be born into this world, because children are innocent. You know, that child doesn't know anything. And so, you know, also just make sure that you work towards having a relationship with your sister. A lot happened, you guys, with my baby sister. So I do see that from time to time she's also not too comfortable with me because of the stuff that went down. But as time goes, she does realize that, okay, I have worked on those feelings, you know, this and that. And I mean, we're working on our relationship as sisters. And I feel like now it's at the best that it has been for years. And so, you know, I'm really happy about that. But anyway, ninjas, I love you so much. Do not forget to thumbs up this video and obviously share. And I'll see you guys in my next upload. Bye, ninjas.